Alright, welcome once again to the channel Chuksniki, and Nicholas here. I am here to teach you all the lowercase letters using the grade system, the basic letters creation. This is not anything to do with the history of letters. It has nothing to do with the typefaces, type fonts, and the rest of it all. This is just actual practical creations of letters. By over here, I'm using the Adobe Illustrator. So you could be using Inkscape, somebody could be using CorelDRAW, another person could actually be using a pencil and paper. But all in all, this is it, the basic tutorial, the basic of the basic alphabets, like the most basic way it should be written. And this is we call it calligraphy if you're using your hand. So if you're actually using a pencil and a paper, you are literally doing calligraphy. And if you're using a laptop, PC, you're definitely doing typography. So the difference is the medium you are using. It's just what you're using that makes it calligraphy, and the other one that makes it typography. The only difference is that unlike the normal calligraphy has to do with stylish and stylized. It doesn't care about legibility. So you're doing like a typographic calligraphy, that's what I'll call it, because you're literally making legibility into your calligraphy. If you're using your hand, that is if you're using your hand, a pencil, a pen, and a paper. But all in all, I know you're wondering what this is on my screen. This, as you can see, some of you are already witnessing that this is definitely a letter V, this is a letter X. If you've been to the formal lectures, the formal sets of tutorials I did, it was a podcast. I'll put the video right here. It should just play a little bit. But if you've been with me all those times, you saw those videos, or you don't know those videos, I did a set of tutorials on the uppercase letters where I taught people how to make the entire uppercase letters from A to Z using grid system. But before, the first time I used a tool called the rectangular grid tool. This time I'm not going to be using this rectangular grid tool because I want the proportion to fit all at once. You know, the last time I did it, I had to go back and then bring it all into a new workspace, as in a new artboard, and arrange them myself again, which I don't want to go through those whole stress this time. I just want us to get to it and get to it quick. And also, while doing it, we will also have the arrangement all together. I know I promised to make individual letters per episode, but I realized something when actually creating this worksheet. I noticed some letters are so easy that if we say we should do it individual, we'll have 26 episodes. That's so much, and we'll end up having also very short episodes that, you know, probably 1 minute, 2 minutes. Just call them shorts instead, rather than having them as episodes. So basically what we'll just do is I'll create shorts from the episodes, but I think we're going to do like a combination, maybe A, B, C, D, E, F, or we're going to do like, okay, the 3x3s and the 5x3s, and then abnormalities, like that. So as we go on, we're going to choose I'm going to choose one before we start doing all that. But to introduce you to this whole thing, this is the introductory video. To really introduce you to this whole thing, what you see here is the lowercase letters from A to Z. The J is not missing this time. I did not forget the J. It's right here. But if you're actually very intuitive, you're already seen most of the letters straight up. But the only letters I bet you are not really completely seeing easily is the letter G and the letter F. But I bet you are definitely seeing every other letter quickly, like very fast. Even the letter Y could be a little bit tricky, but you've seen it all already from here. So hence, making it individually is kind of pointless. So that's why I said we'll make it in terms of groups. The high strokes, the low strokes, and then make a group where we say the 3x3s, and there are some anomalies here too. Some anomalies, just like the letter Q nearly made us cry the last time. The only guy with a 4x5, he came here again and he did the same thing. I don't know why letter Q is like this. or he came here the same thing. The letter M and the letter W, they were the only guys that had 5 by 5, and they came here. They came here with the width, but not the height. This time, they occupied the door space, but not the door height. The door width, but not the door height. So some other letters totally left their parameters and look very different. But the same thing when you're writing with pencil or paper, you'll see your small letter A is always different from your, capital letter A's are always different from the little letter A's. It's just like that. Basically, this is just the entrance. What I did here was I just turned on the grid, and it's very simple to do that. What you do is simply come here and say hide grid. If you're using Adobe Illustrator, you go to view, and there you see grid, see it, show grid, snap to grid. Make sure you turn on your snap to grid for this particular tutorial, and you click on show grid. Now when you turn on your grid, you would most definitely not have the proper grid, so I'll start the next episode by teaching you the proper grid. For now, get ready for a whole set of new bangers, all new, all great lowercase letters with Chuck Sneaky.